Talk about some of the causes that can impact a tenant not paying rent. Number one, especially at this time, financial hardship, job losses. You know what's going on right now in the world with trade wars all over the place, talks of global recession, interest rates going up again. It just goes on and on and on and on. That can have a significant impact on our tenants, right? And they can certainly get themselves in a situation where they are experiencing a financial hardship. One of the main problems associated with non-payment of rent. Another one is personal struggles. Tenant might be going through divorce. They might be separating. Maybe a baby has come along, and the whole dynamic of the family is changing, right? Mental health issues, a big factor in tenant situations, and non-payment of rent could be caused by mental health issues. A third consideration is a shift in mindset. Sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes tenants learn through experience how difficult it can be for the landlord to actually get an eviction, to get a tenant who's not paying rent, to get them out, right? When they learn this, most tenants, okay, fine, then they continue to pay their bills. But sometimes people learn this and they just decide, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of the situation. The fourth thing is the relationship. How is the relationship going with respect to you and the tenant? Sometimes, well, all the time, I think, I hope, they start out positive and great and everything is wonderful, right? And then slowly over time, there's little stresses that come into that relationship and can impact that relationship. And depending on how you react to those stressors, can cause tension, can cause a rift in that relationship. So let's talk about each and every one of those, one at a time. So let's talk about the financial hardship. It happens. People get themselves in a situation through maybe job loss, through maybe just what's going on with the economy. They get themselves into a difficult situation, and us as landlords, we need to be empathetic. Understand, rent is due. We need to collect that, but at the same time, having a conversation with them and understanding what's going on and seeing, is there anything that you can do to help the situation? And don't be afraid. I see this all the time with landlords. We do it all the time. We literally say, look, can you still afford this place? We can go down the path of an eviction, which is difficult for you and it's difficult for us, and you're already going through all of these problems. So why not separate amicably, right? It's the best situation for all concerned. Don't be afraid to ask the question, can you still afford this place? Maybe you have got a larger portfolio and you can move them, downsize them to something, a 3-bedroom down to a 2-bedroom. Maybe originally they had a 2-bedroom, it's just a couple. One bedroom is being used as an office and the job is gone. So they could live in a 1-bedroom. With R&B Properties, we allow our tenants to move from unit to unit throughout their timeline with us. There's no set, it's a 1-year lease, you got to stay, right? So we provide that flexibility. Maybe you can provide that flexibility as well, either through your own portfolio or through portfolio of others that might be able to assist. The big thing is start the conversation, right? Start the conversation and start talking to them and understanding what's going on and understanding if there's anything that you can do. Lots that we can do with respect to the financial hardship. Personal struggles. I always say it as a landlord, you're well, we wear a lot of different hats. And part of our job is to be that psychotherapist. for our tenants and help them through these kinds of issues. If they're going through a divorce, it's a great time to build that relationship, strengthen that relationship, and talk to them. Obviously, they need to move on from where they are to something else. At least one of them needs to have that discussion. If one needs to leave, if both need to leave, and maybe help them through that process. Again, it goes back to that kind of discussion that I was having with the financial hardship, except you don't need to ask the question, can you still afford the place? There's a more serious issue here that needs to be addressed. There can also be mental health issues that are happening, that are occurring, that can cause that. That one's a real tough one. Like, we really aren't psychiatrists. We're not really equipped to be able to deal with those types of things. But be aware of the resources available in your community, and make sure that you're sharing those resources with them. Make sure that they're, going to see people and getting checkups. Make sure that they're aware of the helpline centers. Make sure that they're aware of the emergency centers that they can go to that have the resources to deal with mental health issues. And make sure that they are aware, and people around them are aware. Paramedics have a big impact here, in the sense of you can make a call, make a request, and get an ambulance to come out and just do a quick synopsis of the situation, and take action if action is necessary. Mindset, that's number 3. Wanted to talk about that. It does happen. It does happen all the time, and it is a difficult situation for an individual, for someone who's self-managing, to be able to talk through those conversations that need to be had. Us at R&B Properties, we're very well equipped. We've been doing this for years, and we make sure that the tenant understands that you can get away with your rent this month, you can get away with your rent next month, but in time that's going to catch up with you, right? At the end of the day, if you're not paying rent, we are going to take you to the tribunal. We are going to win. We are going to get an order for payment. If you don't make those payments, right, we are going to be in a situation where we can go to collections. Collections can have a record attached to your credit file showing that you owe funds to R&B Properties. We got a call just recently from a tenant, all upset. Not a current tenant, a previous tenant. She couldn't get a car. She couldn't buy a car. She wanted to buy another car, and she couldn't get a loan. She couldn't get a loan because there was a record on her credit file showing that she owed thousands of dollars to R&B Properties. At the end of the day, people owe this money, and they need to be accountable for that. It doesn't make us bad guys. It just means that we're doing our job, doing what we need to do in order to make sure that our owners are kept whole. I love that term, kept whole. It's not to gain extra, it's not to lose, it's just to keep them whole. So that's the mind shift situation. And then the fourth one is relationship. I have met more bad landlords than I have bad tenants, right? Don't be a bad landlord, be a good landlord. Understand the rules of the sandbox that you're playing in, the sandbox being the province of Ontario. It has rules and regulations for landlords. Understand them. And if you don't have the time to sit down and read the rules and regulations, then the Residential Tenancies Act, it's about 2 inches thick. It's printed in like 8 point, so it's not big letters and big characters. It's pretty small print. It's pretty intense, right? If you don't have the time or the mental capacity to sit down and read that and understand that, get yourself involved with a property manager who understands the Residential Tenancies Act, or get a hold of a paralegal and use them to help you through the whole process. I will tell you right now, R&B Properties, not only do we have the resources, the knowledge, the skills, the expertise within the company, but we also have a paralegal on a contract who helps us at a very significantly reduced rate. I understand now today, like owners, landlords are paying, $1,000, $2,000. I've got a client we just picked up recently. She spent $2,000 just with a paralegal, just dealing with the first part of the process. The tenant's now appealed, and the paralegal's wanting more money on top of that, right? It can be very expensive to deal with paralegals. We can help you with that. A quick summary. Just want to do some final takeaways. Quick summary in terms of some of the things that we've talked about. Remember that rental issues are going to happen to the best of us. Remember those different things that can cause rental problems to occur. They're not always something that we've done. It's a situation that you need to understand. You need to work with the tenants, and you need to resolve in some way, shape, or form. You need to act early. You need to document everything. If things are starting to go south, I am big believer in talk to people, right? But now's the time to either not talk, text, email, because it's in writing. It protects you. It protects them. Or my preference would be to still talk, but when you're done the conversation, let them know I'm going to follow up with an email just to summarize the points that I understand. Okay? And do that. Do it immediately. And send it to them, and so many people, they got busy lives, and they go, oh, yeah, I'll read it later, and they forget about it. Let them know there's a time limit on it. If there's anything that you've misunderstood, get back to me within 24 hours. Otherwise, I'm assuming everything I put there is accurate and correct. Okay? And the third key point, know the law. Know the law and follow it. Please, 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 be a good landlord. Don't be a bad landlord. Okay? And to summarize, to finalize, being a landlord isn't easy, and you don't have to do it alone. If you need help, reach out to us. We're more than happy to talk further about what you can be doing to make things better, or to talk about helping you, getting involved, taking some of the burden off of you and putting it on us. We do it all the time, done it over and over and over again. So definitely more than happy to do that. And I think that's it. Until next time.